Imagine for a second that you're fighting an enemy that doesn't just fight back. It actually learns. You hit it with your best weapon, a precision strike, and for a while, it retreats.
You think you've won.
Exactly. But in the shadows, it's changing. It's putting on new armor. It's rewiring its own survival instincts. And when it comes back, your weapon, the one that worked so perfectly before, just bounces right off.
That is the terrifying reality for millions of men. We're talking about prostate cancer, which is still the second most common cancer in men worldwide.
And the numbers are just moving in the wrong direction. I was looking at the data for this deep dive, and one stat from the population in China just floored me. Between 1990 and 2019, the incidence of prostate cancer there didn't just go up a little bit.
No.
It skyrocketed by over 95%.
It's a massive jump. And it highlights that this isn't just an old man's disease that we can, ignore. The burden is getting heavier globally as populations age. But the real problem, it isn't just that more men are getting it. It's that our best tools, our precision medicines, have a fatal flaw.
Resistance, that's the wall we keep hitting, right? We have these drugs that target specific receptors, but the cancer eventually, it just figures them out.
It outsmarts them.
So here's the mission for today's deep dive. If our modern sniper rifles are failing to finish the job, do we need to look at something much, much older?
It is the question of the decade. Can ancient remedies actually stand up to modern molecular scrutiny? Is there hard evidence that Chinese herbs can fight these tumors, or is it just folklore?
To help us separate the hope from the hard science, I've got a technologist here with me who has spent his career right at the intersection of biology and data. He's a chartered biologist of the UK Royal Society of Biology and a senior lecturer at Tun Hussein on University of Malaysia, or UTHM.
I'm very glad to be here. And frankly, the answer to your question, based on the review paper, Chinese Herbal Medicines from 2023, it's going to surprise people.
Oh, I'm ready.
We aren't talking about magic tea. We're talking about molecular mechanisms that trigger cell suicide, starve tumors of their blood supply, and even break that drug resistance you mentioned.
Okay, let's start with the mindset shift, because I think that's where the friction usually is for people. When a Western doctor looks at a tumor, they see a target, a bullseye.
A single target, yes.
But the source material suggests traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM, sees something completely different.
Completely different. With the traditional view, prostate cancer falls under terms like Longbei, which roughly means a urinary block. But they don't just try to, unblock the pipe.
Right.
They see the tumor as a symptom of a systemic failure, a lack of healthy Qi, and an accumulation of what they call heat and toxins.
You used a great analogy when we were prepping. You compared Western medicine to a sniper.
Right. Western medicine is a sniper. You have one drug designed to hit one specific protein on one specific cell. It's incredibly precise. But if the target moves, or in cancer's case, mutates...
The sniper misses. The shot does nothing, and the cancer keeps growing.
Exactly.
So is TCM a shotgun then?
No, it's more like a specialized team. TCM uses what are called formulas. These are cocktails of herbs that have a strict hierarchy. You have a sovereign herb for the main problem, then a minister to help the sovereign, an assistant to handle side effects, and a guide to direct the medicine to the right place.
So instead of one bullet, you're sending in a whole squad.
Precisely. And because you're hitting multiple targets at once, attacking the tumor, boosting the immune system, reducing inflammation, it's just much harder for the cancer to mutate its way out of trouble.
Okay, so let's look at the roster of this team. The paper highlights a formula called Qianli Shaozheng, or QLXC. It's used for advanced cancer. Break that down for us. What is this squad actually doing to the cells?
This is where it gets really interesting. QLXD targets a specific signaling pathway called PI3K-ACTM2.
Okay, that's a serious alphabet soup. Let's translate that for everyone.
Think of that pathway as the growth engine of the cell. It's what tells the cell to consume nutrients and divide. In aggressive prostate cancer, that engine is stuck in overdrive.
Just revving constantly.
Constantly demanding more fuel, more growth.
And the formula cuts the fuel line.
It jams the engine. But it does something even more drastic. It induces autophagy. From the Greek auto, meaning self, and phage, meaning eat.
Wait, it makes the cancer eat itself.
Literally. The cell starts degrading its own components just to survive the stress that the formula is causing. And eventually the cell just collapses and dies. It recycles its own machinery until there's nothing left.
Wow, that's a terrifying and very effective image. But let's go back to the biggest problem we started with, resistance. You have a patient that take the Western drugs, the cancer adapts, and now nothing works. This castration-resistant prostate cancer, or CRPC. Is there a formula for that nightmare scenario?
There is. It's called quilling decoction, or just QL. This one is your resistance breaker.
How does a mix of herbs break a resistance that modern synthetic drugs can't even touch?
By flipping the script on cell death. You see, cancer cells are very good at staying alive. They produce a protein called BCL2. Think of BCL2 as a shield.
Okay, shield.
Even if you hit the cell with chemo, that shield just absorbs the blow.
So the cell just refuses to die.
Correct. Quilling decoction downregulates or lowers that shield. It strips the armor off. But at the same time, it upregulates a protein called caspase-3.
And caspase-3 is?
The executioner. It's the enzyme that actually carries out the death sentence in a cell. So QL lowers the shield and hands a sword to the executioner.
A 1-2 punch.
A very specific one. The source material highlights a mechanism involving the SNHG10UAR271 5PTREM66 axis.
Okay, you're going deep into the weeds there. What is a genetic axis?
Think of it like a master breaker switch in a fuse box. By flipping this specific genetic switch, the formula stops the cancer from resisting chemotherapy drugs like docetaxel.
So it actually resensitizes the tumor. You take the herbs, and suddenly the chemo starts working again.
That's what the data is showing us. It makes the cancer vulnerable again.
There was one more formula in this section, CFF1. This one caught my eye because the mechanism sounded suspiciously like those incredibly expensive immunotherapy drugs you see on TV.
You are spot on. CFF1 is a great example of herbal immunotherapy. We know tumors are clever. They can hide from the immune system using a protein called PD-L1.
The cloak of invisibility.
Exactly. If your immune system can't see the tumor, it can't kill it. CFF1 targets the EGFR pathway, but crucially, it also blocks that PD-L1 expression. It pulls the cloak right off.
And suddenly the body's own T cells wake up and go, hey, you are not supposed to be here.
Precisely. It empowers the patient's own immune system to do the work. And to achieve that with a herbal decoction rather than a synthetic antibody, well, that's a massive paradigm shift.
It's just wild to think we're finding these complex molecular keys, autophagy, checkpoint inhibition inside roots and leaves. But sometimes you don't need a whole team, right? The paper lists some solo acts, single herbs that pack a punch on their own.
That's right. And one of the most potent is Paris polyphylla, known in Chinese as Chonglu.
Chonglu. Okay, what's its weapon of choice?
It works by imposing a traffic stop. Cells have a life cycle, the cell cycle, where they grow, copy their DNA, and then divide. It's a loop. Chonglu causes what we call cell cycle arrest.
So it just puts up a red light.
A permanent red light right at the G2M phase. The cells are trying to divide, they hit this blockade, and they just stop. And in biology, if a cell can't complete its division cycle, it triggers apoptosis. It dies.
It's like stalling your car on the highway and getting crushed.
A grim analogy, but an accurate one.
Then there's a fungus mentioned. Germite, Rubiniophila, or Weyer. This isn't new, is it?
Far from it. It's been used for about 1,600 years. But modern science shows it specifically targets androgen receptor signaling. Remember, the androgen receptor is the fuel line for prostate cancer.
And Higher cuts that line.
It does. And this also helps with the resistance issue. It can resensitize cells that have become resistant to modern drugs like enzalutamide. It's just fascinating that a fungus used in the 5th century is solving a problem created by 21st century drugs.
I want to hit one more solo act before we move on. Scutellary barbitae, or Banzillion. This one uses a strategy of starvation, right?
Banzillion is what we call anti-angiogenic.
Define that for us.
Angiogenesis is the creation of new blood vessels. Tumors are incredibly hungry. They grow so fast they need a massive blood supply, so they actually trick the body into growing new veins directly into the tumor.
They build their own supply lines?
They do. Banzillion stops that process. It inhibits the signals that call for new blood vessels. It essentially lays siege to the tumor, starving it of oxygen and nutrients until it withers.
We've got starvation, executioners, invisible cloaks being pulled off. I mean, the biological warfare going on here is intense.
It is, and this intersection where ancient wisdom meets molecular biotechnology is exactly where the most exciting research is happening.
And speaking of exciting research, I want to take a quick sidebar here, because usually we just talk about the science, but today we actually have a chance to invite people into the lab.
Yes. If you're listening to this and you're the type of person who isn't just satisfied hearing about the molecules, but you actually want to work with them, there's an opening for you.
We're inviting listeners to conduct master or PhD research studies under your supervision, right? At UTHM in Malaysia.
That's right, at University Tun Hussein on Malaysia. We are focusing specifically on researching herb-based medicinal alternatives to minimize the impact of disease. It's about taking these mechanisms we're discussing, the how and why, and really pushing the science forward.
And the logistics are pretty flexible, I hear.
Very. If necessary, the data collection and analysis can be done in your home country's university or research institute. You don't necessarily have to uproot your entire life to contribute to this field.
That is a rare opportunity. If you want to move from being a listener to a researcher, we will have details on how to connect at the end of the deep dive.
I look forward to potentially seeing some new names in my inbox.
Okay, let's get back to the molecules. We've talked about formulas and single herbs, but science loves to isolate things. We always want to know, what is the one active ingredient? So when we zoom in on the specific compounds, do they hold up?
This is where we run into the lab versus reality gap. It's a very important distinction. Let's look at triptolide. This is a compound extracted from the thunder god vine.
Thunder god vine, that's the best name in botany.
It really lives up to the name. Triptolide is incredibly powerful. It degrades the androgen receptor protein. But it doesn't just degrade the normal receptor, it also degrades the tricky variants, like ARV7.
And ARV7 is that mutant version that usually dodges the drugs.
Exactly. ARV7 lacks the handle that standard drugs grab onto, but triptolide doesn't need that handle. It just breaks down the protein anyway. In the lab, it looks like a miracle cure.
But I can hear a but coming.
The but is best illustrated by the story of curcumin. You know this one. It's the extract from turmeric.
The yellow spice. Everyone says it's anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, anti-everything.
And in a petri dish, they're right. We call it the curcumin paradox. In vitro, curcumin is a superstar. It inhibits proliferation, stops metastasis, suppresses mTOR. I mean, it checks every single box.
So why isn't it the standard of care?
Because the human body is not a petri dish. There was a phase 2 clinical trial mentioned in our source material. They combined docetaxel chemo with curcumin, and it failed.
It failed.
No better than the placebo.
That's heartbreaking. Why? I mean, if it kills the cell in the dish, why does it fail in the person?
Bioavailability. It's a huge problem. The human body, it just hates curcumin. Your liver metabolizes it incredibly fast. You swallow it, and your body breaks it down and flushes it out before it can ever build up in the blood at a high enough level to actually touch the tumor.
So it leaves the building before it can do its job.
Exactly.
So is that it then? Is curcumin a dead end?
Not necessarily, it just means we need better delivery trucks. The source material points out that scientists are now developing things like nanoparticles and nanoemulsions.
Tiny robotic Ubers for the drug.
Essentially, microscopic vehicles designed to protect the curcumin from the liver and deliver it directly to the tumor. So the chemistry works. We just need the engineering to catch up.
That's a crucial lesson. Just because an herb works doesn't mean you can just eat a salad and cure cancer. The delivery matters.
Precisely. Which brings us to the ultimate question. Does any of this actually work in real patients right now? Not in test tubes, not in theory.
Let's look at the clinical evidence. The paper cites studies on hormone-sensitive prostate cancer. What are the numbers there?
There are some very encouraging results. One study looked at adding Jiaowei Dengue Bimu cushion pills to standard therapy.
And compared to standard therapy alone?
The combination group saw significantly reduced PSA levels. But more importantly, they had improved 5-year survival rates. And that's the gold standard, right? Are we keeping patients alive longer? The answer was yes.
There was another study that really stuck with me about delaying the progression, because eventually most men progress to that resistant, dangerous stage.
Yes, using the modified Shanqi de Huang decoction. This study was striking. They tracked patients to see how many developed castration-resistant prostate cancer. In the control group, just standard care, nearly 72% of patients progressed to that dangerous stage.
72%, that's high.
It is. But in the group taking the herbal decoction, only 28% progressed.
Wow, that is a massive difference. You're essentially buying those men years of time before the cancer becomes aggressive.
Exactly. It suggests the herbs were effectively holding the cancer in that treatable zone for longer.
What about the men who are already in the danger zone, CRPC? Is it too late for them?
We have evidence there too. That formula we talked about, CFF1, the one that works like immunotherapy, was tested. It significantly lowered PSA levels and improved physical well-being scores. Another study combined a prescription called Fuyang Huayu with chemotherapy, and patients just have better performance status.
We also need to talk about the cost of fighting this war. The side effects of standard treatments, surgery, radiation, hormone therapy, they're brutal.
They are. Fatigue, bone loss, depression. This is where integrated medicine really shines. It's not just about killing the tumor, it's about saving the man. For instance, after surgery to remove the prostate, complications are common. One study showed doangzikang pills reduced those complications and even lowered recurrence rates.
And it's not just physical, is it? The paper touched on mental health, which I feel often gets overlooked in oncology.
This was a profound finding. A retrospective study looked at prostate cancer patients who also had depression. It found that those who treated their depression with TCM actually had a lower risk of all-cause mortality.
So treating the mind helped save the body.
It connects back to that holistic view. Lower stress, better mental state, perhaps better immune function. There was also a mention of pain management. Cancer-induced bone pain is excruciating. Herbal medicines combined with psychological intervention reduce that pain better than standard controls.
So we have evidence of cell death, evidence of slowing progression, and evidence of a better quality of life. But I want to be careful here. We're not saying get your doctor and go to the herbalist, right?
Absolutely not. And as a scientist, I have to point out the gaps. While these results are promising, many of these clinical studies, they have small sample sizes. We need larger, double-blind, randomized controlled trials. We need to standardize the dosage.
Right.
We need to know exactly which patient responds to which formula, just like we do with Western drugs.
So the future isn't replacement.
No. The future, as stated in the conclusion of our source material, is integrated traditional Chinese and Western medicine. You use the Western sniper to take out the main target. You use the TCM team to prevent resistance, to scour the remaining cells, and to keep the patient strong enough to fight.
Why choose one when you can have the precision of one and the resilience of the other?
Exactly. The evidence shows Chinese herbal medicines can induce apoptosis, rest cell cycles, enhance immunity. The mechanisms are real, the molecules are real. Now we just need to refine the clinical application.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive. To think that roots and fungi used for thousands of years contain these precise molecular keys to unlock cancer cells. It just makes you wonder what else we've missed.
It shows that nature often has the answers before we even understand the questions.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a thought. We've focused on prostate cancer today. But if nature holds the keys to reversing drug resistance in this specific cancer, what other ancient remedies are we overlooking for other diseases? What else is hiding in plain sight, just waiting for science to catch up?
That is the question that drives us every single day in the lab.
And speaking of the lab, remember that invitation. If you want to be part of the team discovering these answers, check the video description.
Yes, click the video link to learn more about living and studying at UTHM Pago campus and joining our biotechnology research team. We would love to have you.
I have to admit, my brain is it's officially full. It's fascinating, but wow, it is heavy stuff.
For sure. And it is a lot to digest. We covered some really complex ground today, but we actually came up with a little something to help with that. We created a free PDF e-poster that sort of visually summarizes the key points we went over.
Oh, like a cheat sheet.
That's it, yeah. A cheat sheet for all the pathways and ideas.
I love that. A visual guide.
Precisely. So if you want to get it, all you have to do is just check the video description. You'll see an email address there. Just drop us a line to join the mailing list.
And you'll send it over.
And we'll send that poster directly to your inbox.
That is actually a huge help for reviewing this stuff. And it's, what, completely free?
Absolutely free.
Perfect. Well, there you have it. Go check the description, grab that poster. And I want to express my utmost gratitude to technologist Dr. Rama Yusvana for his enlightenment and his invaluable insights into the topics we discussed today. It was a real privilege to have you break this down for us.
The pleasure was all mine. Thank you for having me.
Check the summary link in the description. Stay curious.